Welcome to Spotlight Interview. I'm George Jackvick alongside the champions Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Adjuri, and we got a two-division champion, Oscar Valdez, in the building. Oscar, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate that. Want to get that out of the way, so thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure being with you guys, especially with Chris Adjuri and the great, Paulie Malignaggi. So I'm here to answer questions.
Thanks, Oscar. Well, let's jump right into it. You got a fight coming up with Liam Wilson coming up on March 29th, I believe. Tell me about Liam as an opponent. How did you pick that fight?
So most of the times, I don't get to pick my fights. Most of the fights are offered. And I've always been the type of fighter that I'm not looking for easy fights. I'm looking for opportunities. And when I was offered this opportunity, I gladly said yes, because as many people know, I came off a loss against Emanuel Navarrete. So this is a great opportunity for me to step back in there. We know that whoever wins this fight is a step closer for a world title fight. Whoever does lose, steps a couple steps back, and it gets harder to go back into the game. So this fight, it means everything. And getting the call for this guy, Liam Wilson, means everything. And I was there when he fought Emanuel Navarrete, and it was a tough fight. Leon wasn't that easy. He's not an easy fighter, not an easy opponent. He's one fighter who's going to come forward, give it his best. He did send to the canvas Emanuel Navarrete. He caught him with that left hook. We know he's a dangerous fighter. He's got that long reach advantage against the 1-2, and digs very well to the body, especially with that left hook. But we're going to be very prepared. I've never been the type of fighter who goes back and forth on Twitter, tries to offend my opponents. I've always been the type of fighter that tries to show what I can do inside the ring. So this fight means the world to me because, like I said, I lost against Emanuel Navarrete, and I want to come back. I want to come back strong. A lot of these, it got to a point where a lot of fighters didn't want to fight the best because they were afraid to have their record, get their undefeated record off of a loss. So I want to be that example that not because you have one loss or two losses, it means you're done in sport, because as many people know that, you have one loss, two losses, a lot of people count you out already. On to the next one. So I want to be that example that there's no shame on having a loss on your record. You can always bounce back. And for that, I got to win this fight.
Yeah, Champ, that's a great point. And like you said, even though you have a few losses, you're always in exciting fights. And Liam Wilson's another guy. I mean, you mentioned the Navarrete fight. You mentioned that big left hook. And I remember getting ready to watch the Navarrete fight with Wilson, and I watched some tape on him. I was like, man, this kid can punch with that left hand. So he's a very dangerous guy, and another guy that you taking on it speaks to your character, taking such a tough fight. What did you see in the fight with Navarrete and Wilson that you can capitalize on? What have you guys been working on? I'm not giving too much of your game plan away, because this guy really came out of nowhere. He's relatively inexperienced. He's only got 15 or so fights, but he's world class, especially with that left hand.
Yeah, there was a point where everybody was a nobody. There was a point where Manny Pacquiao was a nobody. There was a point where the great Julio Cesar Chavez was a nobody until he fought Sebastian Martinez. And all you need sometimes is you need opportunity, exposure. And he got the chance with Emanuel Navarrete. He did lose, but he showed the world that he's capable to fight with the best in that division. So I learned a lot from that fight. I was there. I'm a type of fighter that likes to study fights. I've been studying. He has that long reach advantage, so I got to step in there, probably dig to the body in the early rounds, and do whatever it takes to win. I do have a lot of experience in myself. I got a two-time Olympian background. I got over 32 fights, more than 10 years professional boxing, and just boxing's always been my life. So I feel like I got the experience on my side, and I'm gonna try to just demonstrate it this 29th.
Champ, that's you mentioned your experience right now, and you talk about all the background you have with the Olympics and the background you have in your pro career, and obviously you haven't been a world champion. We know how boxing works. When we're coming up the ladder, like you said, at first we're nobodies, then we need our chances against the bigger names, and then we get our chance to apply ourselves, and then we become somebody, and then somebody tries to use us as the same thing. But you used a key word there. You said opportunities. When we're older, sometimes the opportunities come in the way that guys are trying to use our name to build themselves up, but sometimes you get a chance to knock them off. Do you feel like Wilson is trying to do that with you? And did you feel like, I felt like that was the case when you fought Berchelt, but you obviously were able to catch Berchelt. At the moment when you knocked out Berchelt, I don't think a lot of people expected that, So That's why you call them opportunities, because that's what they are, but they come in different forms as you get a little bit later in your career. Your own reputation creates these opportunities. Are you looking at it like these guys see that opportunity in you because they came up short of the Navarrete fight, but it was a moral victory for against Navarrete in that they lost, but they got a lot of credit. But against you, they really have the pressure that they have to now win. You can't keep getting moral victories and be taken seriously. Is there any? Do you look at yourself as? Do you look at it that they're looking at you as the guy that can put them over that hump?
Yes, without doubt. Of course, this is an opportunity for them, for him as well. I got a bigger name than Leon Wilson, so of course it will help him a lot if he wins this fight. But honestly, I doubt that he wants this as much as I do. I love the sport. I've dreamed about this when I was a little kid. And boxing has just been my life. I love the sport too much that I dedicate my whole body to this, and I dedicated everything in the world of boxing. So right now, I'm not only am I training harder, because I always train hard for each and every fight, I'm training smarter. I think you learn that over the years of experience. You start learning how to train smart. How to manage well, rest and be focused. Now I'm meditating. I'm doing whatever it takes to build that another level, because you can only work so hard. I always work hard, but now I gotta work hard smarter. I gotta be concentrating and stick to the game plan. Because a lot of my biggest mistakes sometimes in the ring is getting out of the game plan. It's like Mike Tyson said, we all got a game plan. So we get hit in the face, and that's completely true with me. Sometimes I'm inside the ring and we got the perfect game plan, and it doesn't work because I step out of the game plan. I get in the heat of my moment with the crowd, and I want to give the fans what they want, and then I lose focus. So the most important thing for me is stay focused and win this fight, because it means more to me than anybody else. I'm serious that I'm here to win, and I'm going to give it my best, and I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm anxious. I know it's an opportunity, but, it is an opportunity for him as well. But, we're going to see who wants him the most.
And that's the thing. You took my follow-up. You answered my follow-up question, because a lot of times the younger fighter is the hungrier fighter, and the guy who's already been there is maybe not as hungry, but he has the savvy to maybe beat the younger fighter. But you're talking about how you're still as hungry as ever. How do you maintain that drive, man? How do you maintain that hunger, even after all this experience that you've got?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I just love the sport of boxing. If I could last, till I'm 50 years boxing, well, that would be great. Being realistically, we know that that's not the case. We know the case after the 30-something, 32, 33, 34, you start to decline. So what can I do to expand my lifespan in the box career? Well, we got to be disciplined. I got to do this. I got to do that. And the same hunger that I have as a kid, I still have it today, because I just love the sport so much. And also, one important thing, that this puts food on the table for my family. And it's like, if I lose, my family loses. So I always have that in the back of my mind that, I can't lose, because I got my family behind me. I need a sport. And instead of being pressured, it's a motivation. It's a motivation that I've always visualized myself with the belt, WBC belt, WBO, I looked up to the great champions, people like Floyd, like Roy Jones Jr., Julio Cesar Chavez, Eddie Morales. I've always been a student of the game. Always studied boxing. And that, that hunger is still with me, still with me. And, I'm not the ones who say it. The trainers say it. Every trainer out there who see me work out, they know that I work hard in the gym, and they know that I'm always going to be the hardest worker inside that gym.
Oscar, you lost your last fight against Navarrete, but you were very open in how you were after the fight. I read that you were a recluse, that it really affected you. Can you talk about that a little bit, and how you were able to overcome that? Because you were very open and honest about how that loss affected you.
It was hard. It's one of the hardest things, I believe us boxers, we are very sore losers. I consider myself a sore loser. I did everything well. I did everything. We're used to this. We're used to when you do things right, when you train hard, you're disciplined, you make commands, and you do everything right. You sleep early, you wake up early, you live in abstinence, you have a healthy diet. Well, the result always should be you as a victory. And this wasn't the case. I did everything right. Camp was perfect. And I was sure I was going to win the fight. And it didn't go my way. I lost against my people. I lost against a lot of people. And they came over to support me. And it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking because, there's always that question: is this the beginning of the end? Is this everything I gave to the boxing world? Is this the end? And that crushed me. morally, crushed me morally, you know. And when I came back home, you know, us Mexicans are very proud. The fanatics are very proud people, and they're very could be hardcore. So I was a bit ashamed to come out. I was a bit embarrassed. I didn't want to go out even to a store or to walk in the park with the family. It took me about a couple of weeks, and then I said, you know what, I just stepped out. One thing that amazed me was the fact that I went out and people walk up to me and tell me thank you for the fight. And that was something new in my career. I never got that. Thank you for that effort. Thank you, because we could tell you gave it an effort. And I was like, man, I always give it an effort to all my fights. But this time it was different. People were coming up to me and thanking me, even though I lost. They were thanking me for the effort that I was trying to win the fight and give it all. So that kind of helped. And of course, my family, my father, and my teammates, picked me up. It got to a point where I was like, what am I thinking? Why am I feeling sorry for myself? That's life. You lose, you get back up, and you drive, and that applies not only inside the ring but outside the ring as well in life. You can't always win. You're gonna have some falls in your life. And now once I got that in my mind, I said, okay, it's just a slip and a fall. You get back up, and I continue with my dream. You go for the world title, the dream of becoming the best in my division. So I'm very positive, physically, mentally ready for this fight. And like I said, I just can't wait to showcase and show everybody that I'm still up there.
Oscar, for the way you're speaking, you actually answered a lot of the questions that I had because I was a fighter who fought late into my mid-30s and late 30s, actually, and I could tell that my body was different then. And when you said training smarter, not harder, that was big for me because I was always a guy who was the hardest worker in the room, but eventually it didn't always pan out the right way, where actually overtraining was more of a worry than training hard enough or not being in shape. And the way you're speaking about how the passion is there. My passion for boxing has not left me. That's why I'm sitting on this side of the desk, because I can't be in that side anymore. I don't have the ability to be a world champion. And once I said I couldn't be a world champion, then I don't need to be here anymore. How much longer do you see your career going this way? Obviously, you're still full of a lot of passion. Obviously, the desire is there. The fire is there. But how long do you see the career of Oscar Valdez playing out?
Well, I don't know. I said before, hopefully, I could last till I'm 40, but being realistically, we don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it day by day, fight by fight. It all depends on how much my body will give me. I feel good. I've been sparring younger fighters, 20-year-old fighters, and I'm still in their same speed, same reflex. I still got everything. I feel it. But the one thing that I do know is that the boxer itself is the last person to realize that when it's time to hang up the gloves. I truly believe that. So I don't want one day to say I feel okay, but the whole world's seeing something different. So and I've talked to this with my father. I said the one time that you ever see that I'm not okay to box again, that I'm maybe taking too much shots, that I think that it's not healthy for me, that I don't got what it takes to be in this elite level, then the day that you tell me, I will hang up the gloves. Because like I said, I think the fighter is the last person to realize when it's time to give it up. But I can honestly say I do feel well. I do feel healthy and strong. And the hunger is still there. And I'm going to try to take as much as I can, as much as my body lets me. But once again, the day that my father tells me, because my father is the one person who loves me no matter what. And the one person who's telling me the truth. I'm getting hit. If it tells me it's time, then that will be time.
Champ, that's a really powerful message. I think a lot of young fighters, and not even young fighters, need to hear someone like you who's being so self-reflective and honest about your career and your body. So you sound like someone who's very, very aware of what you're doing. So I commend you, and I thank you for an honest answer. It's going to be really helpful for a lot of young athletes out there.
What is a win?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Champ. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna just follow up with, you talk about it's fight by fight and then day by day. So what is a win over your next opponent here? What does that do for you? Where does that propel you? It doesn't matter how you want to win, or it is just a win keeping the ride going. Or obviously if you win in a certain fashion, would it open up more doors for you? As we know, what does a win over this kind of guy do for you? Even if it's let's say a spectacular win.
Well, a win's a win for me, no matter what. But honestly, I'm the type of fighter who likes to give a good performance, give the fans what they want, a good fight. So if I can win in a fashion class way, well, that will be the best that I could do, the best that I will try to do, give the fans what they want. Because people, at the end of the day, this is entertainment. People want to see a good fight, and I've always tried to give that. I've always said it. I've always been very open about this. I grew up idolizing Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. When I was a little kid, I used to see them fight and rewind it and watch it again. I used to be in school daydreaming about how they fought, how did Eric Morales did this, and how did Barrera hit him to the body. And I was just daydreaming. And I always said, one day I want to be something like that. One day I want to be like that. And to this day, I go in there with a game plan, and then sometimes it just goes out the window because I want to give the fans what they want. I want to go in there and give entertainment. And sometimes that doesn't work in my favor. Sometimes, us boxers, we know that you can't go out there looking for the knockout. And I've done the mistake. Go and look up for the knockouts. The best times that I've never looked for a knockout is when I've gotten the best knockouts. And I know this. But it's one of those things easier said than done. That when I'm in the ring, a lot of those things just go out the window and I just lose focus because I'm just want to give the fans what they want. But I want to win this fight, but I want to win it in a classy fashion way that shows that I am in the elite level and I can compete with the world champion in the divisions.
Oscar, you bring up Morales and Barrera, and I could see Paulie on screen smiling, and it made me smile too. And you've talked about how it's important for you to be exciting for the fans. But in the Navarrete fight, do you think you got caught up in that too much? Is that part of the reason why you lost that fight?
I mean, there's no excuses. Like Navarrete beat me fair and square. And I would say I was looking for a knockout. I did want to give the fans what they want. But that's no excuse. At the end of the day, we make the decisions. My trainers, we had a game plan. I stepped away from the game plan because there was a couple of times where I would see the perfect angle, and I was this is it, and I would throw, and he would move in some awkward way that I couldn't really hit him. Vaquero Navarrete is so awkward inside the ring that we're not used to those type of fighters. We're used to fighters who stand straight, throw the 1-2 straight, and Vaquero just an awkward fighter. Carries a big punch, and he's a volume puncher. So he did what he had to do to win, and I got nothing but respect for Vaquero Navarrete.
Well, March 29th, it's going down. You and Liam Wilson on ESPN. So I got to ask the obligatory question for the people that have not seen Oscar Valdez fight. Why should they tune in March 29th on ESPN to see you fight Liam Wilson?
Because this is all or nothing for me. You guys can expect Oscar Valdez, who always going to go in there and give it his best, leave his heart, his sweat, and all his effort, his soul inside that ring. Because like I said before, boxing is my life. I love this sport too much, and I gotta give a good performance. I gotta win this fight no matter what to stay in the game, stay out there, and stay with receiving opportunities to give the fans what they want. So can't miss this because I'm going with everything.
Paulie, Chris, any last words for Oscar?
No, just thank you for the time, champ. We appreciate you tuning in, and a lot of true words were spoken, and just like you said about this fight, all or nothing, man. That's what you're all about, and we look forward to watching you work. Appreciate the time.
One last question, Oscar. What is your favorite win on your career? You had to pick one that stands out the most.
There's either two. I could say Brichette, but the Scott Quick fight definitely marked something different in my career because as Mexican fighters, they're very hardcore fans, and you can have the whole package, but if you don't have the last check on there, they might not respect you. The moment when I won against Scott Quigg, I felt like I graduated because after that fight, a lot of people started calling me "Eres un guerrero," you're a warrior, and that brought a lot of pride to me because I always looked up to like Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. So after that fight, I felt like graduating for the people, and I said, "Okay, you guys understand that I'm here to give you guys what you want." Because I always wanted to be someone like my idols. Hopefully one day I get to inspire the new generation the way these fighters inspired myself.
Oscar Valdez, you always give it your all, and that's why you are a fan favorite. Make sure you check Oscar out against Liam Wilson, March 29th on ESPN. He's a former champion. He could be a future champion. Oscar, we can't wait to see you fight. Make sure you subscribe to ProBox TV on YouTube. Make sure you watch Oscar fight March 29th. ProBox TV is your boxing channel.